Yo, what's up, guys? This is the next Forex Pro, and I wanted to do something different in this video. I know, obviously, I've been away for a good while, just some personal stuff that's been going on. I'm obviously still going through the challenge, and I mean, obviously, I'm still going through phase one, and pretty much I ended up getting a new a new phase one account since I didn't meet the uh, the overall target goal for phase one, and we're just chugging along. So no worries. I believe I ended the month in about I think pretty much 4%. I left it as how it was, and then just now I'm up about 1% or so, and so it's been a steady incline. Um, Obviously, you can see for those of you that are thinking of doing the challenge, it's definitely um, it's something that can be done. I'm not saying it can't. It's just for me, it's taking me a little bit longer. Um, and I would say most likely because I'm just very conservative in my approach. And yeah, I mean, if anything, I think another thing too would be, posting these videos, trying to go, trying to show you guys. Um, that may have been another reason why these whole, personal things just got in the way. Um, but anyways, I would like to keep doing those. Not as often, not as weekly. Probably like every bi-weekly or something like that, or whenever I feel like it. But I did want to start a new thing that I have been getting messages about, and in this one, um, it's been about another trader, and hopefully I can help that person out and whoever they are. And if you're listening to this, hopefully I can help in your trading journey. Now, obviously, I'm not a guru. I'm not a guru. I don't claim to be. However, I know a little bit about a little bit, and we can get started. So, anyways, the question was, um, I've been struggling with trading psychology, and I always catch myself revenge trading and greed. How do I overcome this? So, number one, the big thing about trading is psychology, and we always learn this very late in our development as a trader, because once we have an edge, we then start thinking about we then we really don't, as a matter of fact, we don't think about it, but as we're trading and as we're going through the motions of a live account, especially if you're in a live account, you begin to see the crazy ups and downs of the mind, especially if you're not ready to trade live, or if you're not you know if you're not privy to have grown up in an environment where you are very positive minded person. And even then there's still going to be work that you have to do. um, it's really hard to get over the act of revenge trading and greed, and most of these stem from fear, especially revenge that stems from fear. um, it also stems from trying to, and then greed, it stems from trying to prove something to someone else, right? It's super hard, and I think the reason why they're struggling with revenge trading and greed, all it is you require patience, and it's hard. It's fucking hard. It's something that everyone has to go with in their own way. It's a lot of battles, it's a lot of demons that you have to fight with. But you have to ask yourself, to give you some action items to do, is you have to ask yourself what is it that you got into trading for, and what is it that you feel after you take a loss, right? Like why is there a need to get back in the market again? Especially if it doesn't meet your rules, and then you start revenge trading, and then that leads to greed, and then that leads to blowing up your account, right? Because we've all been there, right? I'm sure if you're listening to this, you've gone through that process where you're you're trading, you take a loss, you take another loss, and then you kind of go into this flight or fight mode, and then by before you know it, your account has been blown up, right? You revenge traded, you got greedy, you increase your position size thinking that you can make double or more than what you lost, and you end up losing everything, right? And so that stems the main thing that stems from is patience and believing that you can do this long term, right? Because at one point or another, that is a sabotage mechanism that is inside of your head. I do feel that that's also another thing that it stems from. You're trying to sabotage your results, trying to sabotage what you do. All this, obviously, all this happens at a subconscious level. And, it's just, it's a fight or flight mode. And in this case, instead of stepping away, which is the flight mode, the ego kicks in, especially in guys. We're a lot more egotistical, and it's a lot more easier for us to go in there and be like, I'm gonna, you SOB, I'm gonna make my money back. And so, what I would suggest you do is practice patience. And write it down in your rules. Number one, you have to have rules. That's number one in everything, right? You have to have your rules for entry, for execution, for analysis, for even profit taking, for stop losses, right? If you get stopped out for today, does that end your trading day? If you take 2 losses, does that end your trading day? Does that make sense? And so you have to figure that out. You have to have that in place so that you don't have to go through the revenge trading process. And once again, this goes back to we all want to know how to win, right? But we never really stop and ask ourselves, I want to accept defeat. I want to accept losing. And that's one of the hardest things, I think, in the development of a trader. Like I said, if you're not well equipped to handle losses and to, be able to go through a drawdown phase, or, be able to see the trader in a losing position and be able to stay in it long enough to see it hit your profit target. And so, once again, right, that all stems from patience. It stems from, fear. It it's I would say it's mainly patience though. And obviously, not having your rules written down, which is, it's just another piece of the puzzle. And this is the thing about trading, guys, that there's a lot of puzzles that you have to put together. There's no real right or wrong way of how to get to profitability, or how to get to where you're pretty much you have a solid mind, a state of mind. Sorry for the dog barking here, but if you could hear it. But yeah, I mean, what I would say is practice patience, have your plan in place, and number one, right? Like I said, ask yourself those questions. How do you feel after you take a loss? What do you want to do? And also have a plan and have it written down so that you know that if you take a loss, if you take 1 loss or 2 losses, then that's it, right? Well, because if you know that next time, now you know that you can only take 2 losses, and so you want to look for the best type A setups, right? You need to at least have type A or type B, or even type C setups where you're okay with winning or losing, right? Whatever the outcome is. And that's really hard, right? Like, that literally stems back to patience, because when you miss a trade and you're like, wow, this was, even though this was like a type C setup, and you took a loss, or excuse me, and that turned out to a winner, but you didn't take it. And then next time you write it down, and then the next time you actually take the loss, and then you take another loss. And I mean, it just goes in circles again, and it's really stressful. So if you want to make it a rule to only take type B and type A setups, to where you're okay with the outcome, meaning losing, and once again, you take 1 to 2 to 3 losses of the day, or whatever the percentage of your account is, usually 1 to 2% of your account for the day, and you call it a day, right? Obviously, if you don't even have a winning edge to begin with, then you shouldn't be trading at all. You should be in demo, and that's period. But yeah, hopefully I gave you guys some action items for that, right? Practice patience, practice waiting. Waiting is one of the toughest thing here in trading because the market will always be there here. And that's one thing we always have to keep that in mind. The market will always be here. The issue is that we want things now, and for wanting things now, we get into our own heads, right? We get in our own heads, and we most likely or not end up getting in trouble than it actually helping us. But anyways, hope that helps, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this little episode here, and have a good one.